It's wild to me how real safety in my own body is. Just it's becoming so relevant. It's becoming so foundational now. And previously tuning my energy into other people, as a result, of course, of what I learned early on in life. Not only is it outdated, I mean, it's not something that you can't do with people that are healthy, safe, and stable. But when you're dealing with people that are not, it's not going to be a good experience. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be unpredictable. It's going to be anxiety ridden. Can even get very depressing, right? This is why bringing all of one's awareness and energy back to the self and into the body is so important. We need to learn to be able to create safety in ourselves because, in my own experience at least, a far majority of people are not healthy. They're not safe and stable. They are all over the place. They are chaotic. They're unpredictable. They're volatile. It's like you don't know, and that's not okay. So learning that dynamic is one thing, but then unlearning it for the purposes of healing is absolutely necessary. It completely transforms the dynamic, the experience of how you live, right? But see, the interesting thing here is that a lot of people they they have a challenging time when it comes to um, bringing all of their awareness and energy back to themselves. Uh, Specifically because they have been so conditioned to externalize that, right? They've been so conditioned to believe that that's the way that they need to go about doing things. And they actually have anxiety around bringing their awareness and energy back to themselves and into their bodies because probably they're externalizing that for a sense of validation, for a sense of guidance and understanding. But it's an outdated thing because there has to be some point in a person's life when they learn to create safety for themselves, right? Where they don't need to be guided by another person or other people because that's just not sustainable, especially when you've been conditioned to tune into people that are not healthy, safe, or stable. That's a real issue. Um, in my own experience in life, what I found myself doing is bringing my awareness and energy back to myself, understanding what it is that my intuition is telling me, and then going from there, right? And what I've noticed is one of the thing like an obstacle, for instance, is just like trusting myself, right? Because when you are so invalidated and gaslighted and everything, you learn to question whether or not you can trust yourself. And more often than not, you end up feeling like you can't trust yourself. So, really sitting with yourself, sitting with your intuition, sitting with whatever it is that you're feeling, and just allowing yourself to feel it. But then, of course, like acting on it, right? Like, if what you're feeling is get out of this position because it's not healthy, safe, or stable for you, then the right decision is to get out of that because your intuition's telling you. Like, and here's the interesting thing too. People will try to use words to get you to believe that whatever it is that you're thinking or feeling is insignificant and unimportant. And this is a red flag and a big problem. It doesn't matter what other people have to say, think, or feel about it. What matters is your experience and what you need to do for yourself. This is what I've come to learn because no two people, from what I'm coming to understand, no two people experience anything in the same way. So something that this person is okay with, but this person isn't okay with, and this person over here considers it to be insignificant and ridiculous, um, that is invalidating. It makes a person feel unsafe and uncomfortable. And if it escalates to the point where the person is suggesting that the person who is like too sensitive or this, that, and the other, that there's a problem, this is when you need to remove yourself from a situation. The most important thing that a person can do for themselves is create safety within themselves. And within that, you really need to learn to bring all of your awareness and energy back to yourself and not focus on what other people have to say, think, or feel about it, because your experience is unique to you. It's unique to yourself. It's unique to how it is that you go about life, and that's just the reality of it. So learning to bring your awareness and energy back to yourself is very important here, and not focusing on um, like oh well, if I bring my awareness and my energy back to myself, what will they think about it? What will they say about it? What will they feel about it? Doesn't matter. What matters is that you know what you need for yourself, and you act on that, because creating safety within the self for a person entails so much trust. Like, think about it. In order for you to feel safe with yourself, you need to be able to trust yourself, right? If you don't trust yourself, you're not going to feel safe with yourself, and you're also not going to trust your ability to recognize when it is that you're being mistreated, right? Um, so really, just like not worrying so much about what other, and this also goes back to a video that I made the other day where I was talking about walking on eggshells, right? People that walk on eggshells, they tend to often think that it's the other person's fault that they're walking on eggshells. I don't believe it is. I believe that the person who's walking on eggshells, um, they allow themselves to get far too affected by other people's energies, and they're afraid of how they'll react. And this is exactly why what people need to do in these kinds of situations is just bring their awareness and energy back to themselves and into their bodies, and as necessary, and if need be, remove themselves from the situation. Um, yeah, there's only one person that can provide the most safety for you, and that's yourself, right? Um, And in order to achieve that, you need to learn to trust yourself. In order to achieve that, you need to spend a lot of time sitting with what it is that you're feeling, understanding that it's not crazy, it's not absurd, it's not ridiculous, it's not everything that you've been told it is in terms of, being invalidated and being gaslighted and everything. What you're experiencing, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, it's all real, it's all 100% valid, and it's all your own experience, and that is to be respected. There's no other way around it. So really focus on that. Focus on bringing your awareness and your energy back to yourself, and try to let go of worrying what other people will think, say, or feel about your decisions. And just respect yourself.